How's it going, folks? This is Mike from Burnham Paracord. Here today to show you how to make a paracord belt. This one here would be a double cobra stitch with a cobra flap for your overhang. I've seen a lot of videos on YouTube and come up with a little technique that makes things a little bit easier that I thought I could share with the paracord community. I will show you here how I do the double stitch, but leave the hole so that no matter how big or how small you may need a belt, you can use it no matter what. So, with that being said, I can take this and show you how to start making one. So here we've got the basic necessities that you'll need to make your paracord belt. For each one of these, I have 50 feet of paracord wrapped around. This would actually be a gift wrap cylinder here, just a cardboard cylinder. Makes it easier to work with when you have that amount of paracord. I have found when making a belt, it's always good to have more than you need. Don't ever cut yourself short. You can always cut some off at the end. Rolling it up on something makes it easier to deal with, so you're not pulling off a whole bunch of cord at one time. You'll see here that I have a buckle, a lighter, a pair of scissors, and this here is your common paracord needle. It allows the paracord to screw into the end there, and this will be needed towards the end when you start making your loop for the final end. So starting off the belt is always one of the hardest parts to it. After that, it's just repetition based upon how long you need the belt. You continue the steps all the way down to the end. So I'm going to go ahead and show you how I start my belts. You'll see here I've pulled these two strands back to the front so I can work with them. And what you're going to do is start off with a normal cobra stitch. So you're going to bring the inside color across. Now when you do this, you want to make sure that you leave enough room to be able to get that roll through that loop. When you do this, you can keep it loose, and I like to pull down and make sure that your belt stays nice and tight, because that's going to be what's determining the length. So you keep that pulled down nice and tight. I put my finger there, work that all the way up to the top, and pull it tight. From here, I'll go ahead and do one more cobra stitch. And there you have it. Now what you want is you want your outside color to be on the inside of your belt now. This is going to be important when it comes to weaving it all together. So these two pieces I can go ahead, set off to the side, bring over my other ones. Again, make sure they're tight. Bring the inside color across, underneath, behind, and back up through the hole. Once again, pull down and make sure you're keeping it nice and tight. Place your finger, and then work your stitch all the way up to the top. And do that one more time. And there you have it. Now I got my outside color on the inside of my belt. So, I'll go ahead and put my inside color off to the side, leaving the inside color strung over. And what we're actually going to do here is take your two inside-outside colors and we're going to cross them. Now, one thing to make sure of is make sure you lift this flat so you can keep that. So you cross these, and then from here on out it is basic repetition. What you want to do is 4 braids on each side and cross. You'll repeat 4 braids and you'll cross. So I'll go ahead and show you. There's 2. There's 3. And there's 4. So that side is all set for right this second. Go ahead and slide that over. And I'll bring my other 2 color over. I'm going to do the same thing. Do 4 braids on this side, and then we'll be able to start stitching together. Making sure to keep that buckle up. There's 1. There's 2. Three. and 4. So once again, tuck that one back. You'll notice I got both my blacks on the inside, both braids are even, and we'll do the same thing. Now what I like to do is keep all my crosses all looking the same. So I'll just look up, and this one crossed over the right over the left. So I'd go ahead and cross that over, bring this back, and we can do another 4 braids. From this point out, it's pretty much repetition all the way until you get to the end of your belt. Just do the same thing over and over again. No difference, no variation. Just make sure that you keep everything the same. Make sure you're crossing over the same way as you did before. Or if you prefer, you could do it the opposite direction. That's up to you. And then I will go ahead, finish this off, and show you how to finish it.
Alright, so as you can see here, I've got the belt almost completed. I've got it all the way down to just the bottom here, where we're going to go ahead and show you how we're going to be tying it off and finishing it up here. So what I've got is just a little bit left here that was on the bottom of the nails with the cords running out. So I'm going to continue with the crisscross pattern every 4. And at this point I took the rollers off because it does make it easier when working with this tighter area. Okay, so you braid it all the way down until you got just a little bit of a lip there left, and then I'll finish this side. Okay. So I got both of them right down to the end there. Now this is where your sewing needle is going to come in very handy. Now when you cut off your excess cord, you want to make sure that you leave plenty here so that you're going to be able to use the actual needle and be able to thread it in. So cut off some excess. Make this all a bit easier to work with. I usually leave about 5 to 6 inches. And then what I like to do is melt the ends of the cords here just a little bit. Be careful when you do this, you can definitely burn your fingers. And then I just roll it into a point, which will allow this needle to sew right on. So now you see the paracord is locked right in there, it won't come out. And this little loop here at the end. You see the blacks coming out on top here. You can take this and feed that right through the hole. Pull that right through. Unscrew that. Do the same thing with the other color here. You can pick these needles up online or at Walmart. They usually cost about $3 to $5. See, this one's on the same side, just coming from the back. I go through the same hole. Pull that right through. Now I'm going to go ahead and do the same thing with the other side. See, this one's coming from the back side, so feed that through. Okay. And there we are. So, we've got both our ends dressed up nice and neat there. Now a little trick that I've learned is you cut it off, leave about 1/4 of an inch. Melt the end of that cord just until you see it start to about melt. And you take a flat piece of stainless steel off your scissors usually. As long as they are stainless steel, they do not melt to the scissors. But it allows a really nice flat burn, so that way you don't have to worry about it catching on anything. Got the ends all dressed up nice, and you can see here that I've got holes every other weave that you'll be able to tighten your belt up. So the only other thing we got left to do is we got to go ahead and finish off so that we can make the flap for the excess. Alright, so you can see here that I've put the belt together, went ahead and buckled it so it's nice and tight. Now my excess I like to keep around in this area here somewhere, depending on the pants you wear and where your first excess on your pants are. What I usually like to do is I've taken some of the black and some of the gray and melted it together. So I take the belt, put it together, and where I want my excess, I'll go ahead and feed through the buckle side or from the back. Then you want to go over the excess, find the adjacent one that's down to the bottom, that's where the needle comes in real handy, especially if you're like to keep it nice and tightly woven. Pull that through. And what I like to do is pretty much keep enough right there just for your thumb to fit. And that's going to leave enough so that when you braid it you have plenty of room. So you're going to go to the next one over, go back up, and go back to the top. Feed that back through. Again, make sure you got room there for your thumb so that you have the excess. And at this point, I'll go ahead and undo the belt. And we go back into our normal cobra weave. Keeping this first knot and braid tight, because that's just going to hold it. Okay, so I've got it braided all the way around there. And this is where I just like to double check that the belt itself is going to fit through the loop there. Helps keep it nice and snug. And we'll do as we did before. Cut off the excess, leave about just a hair. Melt it until you're just starting to see it melt. Use the scissors. And there you have it. One paracord belt. All nice and fit together. And good to go. Any questions or concerns, leave a comment and I'll try to get back as soon as I can. Thanks.